Blame is an outdated concept that we learned in our religious past, in our mystical past, when everything was a mystery and whoever or whatever assaulted us, we assigned blame to it. And we have learned that correlation does not prove causation, that sometimes a person attacks you and you think that, well, they're full of the devil, but really they're crazy and they can't help it. They, have visions and their minds are totally twisted and they're just an automaton acting out whatever is inside of them, and you are really even of no consequence to them at all. And that is basically how the world works. The whole world. People that are selfish and ego driven and hateful and run over other people, there's no reason to blame them like they could have done something else. That's who they are. That's the environment they were reared in. That's how they feel inside. They think that that is the right way for human beings to behave. And what we're doing together is trying to change that in all of us, to create an ethos where those kinds of principles, like, just unabashed egoism, where you run over everyone, is not acceptable. And then people have to change, even if they feel differently inside, to fit into the ethos. And then over time, we're hoping that it just changes in everyone, that, people are reared with that understanding from the first. And it's going to take a long time and it's going to be hard, but we have to stop assigning blame to people and saying it's your fault, we hate you, this whole idea of evil. And it's easy to look at. I mean, you think about serial killers, they can't help it that they do that. When we know that now through psychology, and we have learned so much over the past few hundred years that we are really not implementing right now. But serial killers can't help it that they do that. They have to be locked up. They have to be sequestered from the rest of society. They might not even be, we need to discuss, is it even worth feeding them? Is there something to that, keeping them alive? Because their minds are totally destroyed. And that's how people really are. That's really, there are some human beings whose minds are completely destroyed. And some people seem to have a little bit of cognition and can change their behaviors, but blaming people and saying, this is your fault that you do this, that's not helpful. We need to lock up the people that are a danger to other people, because they're a danger to other people, not because it's their fault. Like criminals out there stealing all the time. They're poor. They were abused as children. They can't work in the workforce because they have absolutely zero social skills. And there are plenty of people who do not have the social skills to survive in the workplace. And we don't even talk about that. And so, yes, that is why they're stealing, but we still can't allow them, even though it's not their fault, to be loose and steal. But once we realize the real situation, maybe we can start looking at how do we ensure that, more people get social skills. What is the problem? How can we attack poverty really and start talking about real things with poverty, like abortion? Like, if you're in serious poverty, you probably should not have children because it's a terrible environment for children to be in, and you shouldn't do that to somebody else. Once we start talking real, we got a lot to do, and it can be fun and exciting, and yes, it'll be painful and hard, but once you're moving forward, it overall feels better.